Joining me, Jack Burkman, Republican strategist, K Street lobbyist, and host of Behind the Curtain, Saturday mornings at 10 on Newsmax TV. Also, Virginia Democratic delegate Mark Levine. Catch his nationally syndicated radio show, Inside Scoop, weekdays at 3 p.m. on marklevinetalk.com. It was a clean sweep this week for Donald Trump. He went 5 for 5 and moved closer to securing the Republican nomination.
Look, I started off with 17. I'm down now. I'm winning it. It's over. As far as I'm concerned, it's over. These two guys cannot win. There's no path.
On the left, Hillary Clinton won 4 of 5 primaries. Now she's only 215 delegates short of sending Bernie Sanders packing.
Let's go forward. Let's win the nomination. And in July, let's return as a unified party. Thank you all so much.
Jack, let's start with Trump. Were you surprised by the margin of victory on Tuesday? He really clobbered Ted Cruz and John Kasich.
Yeah, just a bit, and then he had some good after wins in Pennsylvania, too. Trump did, he's doing very, very well. I think at worst case scenario, Morris, is he gets to something like 1187. If he comes within 50, he certainly wins on the first ballot. I really think at this point there's probably a 75% chance that by the 7th of June he has all of this wrapped up. Increasingly, there's not much to talk about, I think, on either side.
Mark, he's unstoppable. Are you surprised?
He's unstoppable? He's unstoppable.
So
yeah. No, he's not. I have to. It's rare that I agree with Jack, but I do think the race is over. I think it's Trump versus Clinton in the fall, and Hillary Clinton's going to have to get Sanders supporters in line. I don't think Donald Trump is able to get Cruz and Kasich supporters in line.
Now, Sanders cut his campaign staff to about a third this week, but he's still in the race and looking toward primaries in Indiana and California. He talked math on Wednesday at a rally in Lafayette.
I am very good in arithmetic, and I can count delegates, and we are behind today. But you know what? Unusual things happen in politics. And with your help, we are going to win the pledged delegates. And with your help, superdelegates may well reach the conclusion that Bernie Sanders will be the strongest candidate against Donald Trump or any other Republican.
Optimistic like Kasich. Now, every week we ask, why is Sanders still in this? I wonder if his persistence has anything to do, Mark, with the Clinton email FBI probe. What do you think?
No, I think it has to do with the things he's run on all along. Look, I think he's a little delusional there when he thinks he's going to get the pledged delegates, much less the superdelegates. But he's there for a strong reason. He cares about Wall Street. He cares about income inequality. He cares about money in politics. And he's made those points very clearly. And I already think, despite that rhetoric, he's starting to tone it down, not just with his campaign staff, but talking about getting what he believes in the platform.
Well,
and that's where he and Hillary Clinton can agree.
I don't disagree,
to put that
Mark,
in the platform.
I don't disagree at all that Sanders is idealistic for American politics. I've seen very few people who genuinely do it for reasons of idealism. I do think Sanders might be one of them. There's 2 reasons, Morris, he would hang around. Number one, just what you said, in case the hammer falls, if Obama decides to indict her, if he quits, they would go with someone else. But if he hangs around until July, he would then be the man. That's number one. The other one is kind of a far out scenario. Let's say that the convention would go against Trump, that he falls short of 1237, and somehow they make Paul Ryan or some other white knight the nominee. In that scenario, Trump might run independent. Now, if Trump were to run independent, there might be a case that Sanders would run independent.
Oh, you're delusional, Jack. You're as delusional as Bernie Sanders thinks he's going to get the pledged delegate.
This is the mind of Bernie.
A Bernie Sanders Larry David ticket could be awesome. Indiana could be make or break for the Cruz campaign. He pulled an unusual, some say presumptuous move on Thursday, announcing a running mate.
After a great deal of time and thought, after a great deal of consideration and prayer, I have come to the conclusion that if I am nominated to be President of the United States, that I will run on a ticket with my vice presidential nominee, Carly Fiorina.
Cruz also won a pair of endorsements from former Florida Governor Jeb Bush and current Indiana Governor Mike Pence. Jack, will Fiorina, Bush, and Pence help Cruz win in Indiana, or does it matter if he does?
Oh, it matters a lot. I think if Trump is a big winner in Indiana, this is pretty much over. I think it was a brilliant move with Fiorina because he recaptured the news cycle. He also highlighted Trump's central weakness, and that is with women, at least with young, unmarried women. It was a great move. You know, Morris, this week CNN and some of the other cable news channels thought when Cruz said he's got an announcement at 4 p.m., they thought he was dropping out.
Yeah.
He really surprised them. He stayed in the game. I mean, I'm a Trump supporter, but I give Cruz credit for a good move.
I think he should have dropped out at 4 o'clock p.m. I mean, Carly Fiorina, are you kidding me? Someone who's only run for office, she lost big time in California. Someone who her best job was fired for doing a lousy job. This is his vice presidential pick. She's going to go down with Cruz. They
yeah, but you
deserve
have to
each
understand,
other.
Mark, on the Republican side, there aren't a lot of choices for women. You could go with Susana Martinez, but the name ID is too low. He already has the Hispanic card. You could go with Marsha Blackburn in Tennessee, your home
How about
state.
Christine Todd Whitman? How about Kay Bailey Hutchinson?
Oh,
How about
come
women
on.
who have a lot of experience in the Republican
those are
Party?
Older people who
All right,
have
let's
left.
move on. Meanwhile, Trump won the support of former Indiana University coach Bobby Knight.
I have never voted. I'm not here to represent the Republican Party. You know, quite frankly, I don't give a damn about the Republicans. And then on the other hand, I don't give a damn about the Democrats either. But I really think that we have, as Americans, a great opportunity not to represent a political party, but to pick the best man that we have available to lead the United States back to where we want it to be. And
Trump has also won over former House Speaker John Boehner. In an interview at Stanford University, he called Ted Cruz, quote, Lucifer in the flesh, adding, I've never worked with a more miserable SOB in my life. Wow, Mark, you must be loving this.
You know, I think that could be the Trump campaign's new slogan. We just don't give a damn. It's actually a pretty good slogan, and it fits the anger of the Trump voters who really have no plans to solve anything, but are really, really upset. And then, of course, Lucifer in the flesh. You know, if a Democrat had said that, imagine how many people would have come down on him. But for the Speaker of the House to say that says a lot about Ted Cruz. These are the leaders of your party, Jack.
Yeah,
I expect we're going to have
this?
a landslide victory in the fall.
Remember, Mark, I'm surprised you belittle voter anger. Remember back in '92, it was voter anger, particularly among baby boomers, that catapulted a Bill Clinton, heretofore unknown,
Voter
over
anger
a very
is
powerful
fine
George Bush.
if it's directed in some policy. Trump anger just seems to be anger.
Well, back to the Lucifer comment. You know, Morris, I mean, Ted Cruz is not liked in Congress. I don't know of a single member in either chamber in either party that likes Ted Cruz. Boehner had many tough negotiations with the Senate. I certainly understand why the Speaker would say that. I wouldn't say that of Ted Cruz. I think the biggest problem with Cruz is he comes across sometimes as looking a bit fake.
Or creepy.
You know, when he was announcing Fiorina, I mean, he said, well, I was in prayer and all that. He takes it too far.
Yeah.
He takes it too far.
All right, all of this aside, Clinton and Trump are directing most of their rhetoric at each other. Gender is shaping up to be a central issue in the fall.
Well, I think the only card she has is the woman's card. She's got nothing else going. And frankly, if Hillary Clinton were a man, I don't think she'd get 5% of the vote. The only thing she's got going is the woman's card. And the beautiful thing is, women don't like her, okay?
Now, the other day, Mr. Trump accused me of playing the, quote, woman card. Well, if fighting for women's health care and paid family leave and equal pay is playing the woman card, then deal me in.
Jack, it's going to be pretty tough for Trump to win this issue, don't you think?
I think both of them are learning to be candidates, something 6 months ago neither one of them knew how to do. I think Trump, under the guidance now of Paul Manafort, my good friend, is doing very, very well. I think Hillary Clinton, after 30 years of this, is finally learning to be a candidate. She was candid in one of her recent speeches. She said that she's not a natural politician like Bill Clinton or like Barack Obama, but Morris, both of them are learning.
Now, getting back to what Trump said, and Mark, you watched this speech, a lot of people paid particular attention to Mary Pat Christie, the wife of Chris Christie, who endorsed Trump. This is the moment when Trump dropped the phrase woman card. Did she roll her eyes?
I don't think she was very happy about that.
Yeah, she's like saying, did I just hear that?
Look,
that's what she's thinking, little thought balloon.
He's attacking all women. He's not just attacking Hillary Clinton. He's attacking all women to suggest that a woman who was Secretary of State, a two-term senator from the very large and important state of New York, and a former First Lady.
If she were a man, she wouldn't get 5% of the vote.
If she were a man, she would have done much better than she has right now.
That's not true.
Now, wait a minute. She has more experience than Ted Cruz.
She was a Secretary of State. She was a senator for the state of New York.
She's more experienced than Barack Obama.
She's had some experience.
There's no question that she's
much more than Donald Trump.
Her resume is eminently qualified to be president of the United States. I wouldn't challenge that in the least. Beyond that, she's Yale Law. I mean, she's got a fantastic resume.
She's brilliant.
I would take not a thing away from her.
So it's not because she's a woman that she's succeeding, please.
What Donald Trump said is true. If she were a man, she probably would never be in the position she's in. Now,
I don't think that's true at all.
The female vote is complicated because we need a lot more data in this country. The big issue is what percentage of married women vote differently than their husbands. We need a lot of study on that. The female vote is a lot more complex.
Yeah, but Jack, they're not going to like a guy that says that an extremely well-qualified, probably the most qualified person to run for president in 40 years, that somehow she's not qualified because she's a woman.
Trump didn't say that.
That is sexist.
Trump did not say
any of that. He said she
that.
wouldn't have made it if she's a man, and the men that have run for president for the last 40 years have not been as well qualified as she's been.
You've got to be analytic. He said the latter and not the former.
We'll pick this up again next week with a lot more. We'll make some news as well. Mark Levine, Democratic delegate, and Jack Burkman, Republican strategist, the best political panel on TV. Thanks to you both.
Thanks, Morris. Thanks, Mark.